How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing us a brand new Drifters anime episode discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we are going to be talking about Drifters anime episode 8. And in this episode, guys, we actually look to see a very change of pace, as this episode actually showcasing more on the Drifters side of their angle as to a brand new chapter of what's to come for these following episodes, due to the fact that in this episode, guys, we're actually seeing the confrontation between the Grand Master and Toyohisa, Nobunaga, and Yoichi, as we actually see these characters interact against each other. And instead of bickering, folks, the way I saw this episode was more of revelation to say that, you know, they actually come to terms, and it was completely what I was not having in mind, because what I thought in this episode, I actually would have thought the Grandmaster was actually going to argue with Nobunaga and Toyohisa's ideals. Instead, they actually both came to terms and said, you know what, yeah, we need to do whatever we gotta do, we'll separate right now, and because, you know, the Grandmaster has to do his own thing. But instead, the Grandmaster is actually kind of seeing Nobunaga as, in this episode, as a very dangerous man, because in this episode, guys, we actually learn to see that the Grandmaster is starting to be a little bit wary of the situation that's involved with Nobunaga and the actual civilization of this brand new world, because Nobunaga is actually taking advantage of the way that this structured world is, because it's still in the ancient times where arrows and rocks are basically the only weapon of choice. But Nobunaga, of course, comes from a different timeline and actually is implementing that and seeing that, you know, this is like a baby. It's like he's nurturing a baby and making it into fruitation, and he's trying to make it into himself as to how he wants it. And Nobunaga is just having fun as the way he's kind of embezzling himself in the way that everything is going around him. And I'm loving the fact that Nobunaga himself is not afraid to even admit it to the Grand Master, because in this episode we actually see the Grand Master actually seeing that he's actually a drifter. He himself was I actually thought he was an elf, from by all means. I really thought he was an elf the way they actually showcased him in this episode. But no, the Grand Master was his name, Abe no Seme. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong or right, but this character, he sees that he was the first one that was actually brought from Murasaki's own idea, like I would say his own first choice. And from there on, Abe actually was the one that said, you know what, I've seen that these other people are right there. These ends themselves are causing havoc, and he wants to get rid of them because they don't belong in this world. And basically, Abe is kind of seeing himself as kind of like the Jesus, like the Japanese Jesus, you could kind of say, because we all know the Black King himself is Jesus on it, because from what we've seen, Abe can do his own type of magic, and with Abe can do his own type of magic, we can see that the Black King does his own type of magic, and these two are kind of at quelms right there. Like I said, these two are basically kind of doing their own power struggle. Like I said, it's interesting to see how this own power struggle is going on, because we also learned that the fact that the Grand Master himself is actually seeing the way that the freaking structure is going around the whole entire areas. I'm seeing that the fact that he himself has changed the customs that he has brought upon this world, because it seems that he was like a priest of some sort, and he sees that like he was supposed to be bald, but instead he grew his hair out and said, you know, he's kind of changing into this brand new world. Like I said, it's interesting to see how these characters are moving on. We got a little bit of that characterization for Abe himself, but it goes on to say like just how far would this character go. And also, not only Abe himself, we actually learned that Adolf Hitler in this episode, he himself was a drifter, and I knew he was just because he built the Orte Empire. And by the way, the Orte Empire was very much emphasized in this episode again. It seems that the Orte Empire is collapsing under its own way, as you can say, because it's always being ravaged by wars and etc. But because Adolf Hitler is the one that founded this foundation of this empire, it's actually coming down. And maybe that's why he kind of might have done his own sacrifice due to that actual reason. But we learned that with Adolf Hitler, not only kind of he made his empire, but it was actually for a reason, because of the fact that the way that the civilization was going on, he actually brought the people together out of starvation. It's basically kind of like how he got Germany's economy up to running in par against the Americans, etc., etc. You know, he just basically got the economy of this brand new world up and running, because of the fact that he saw that they just needed someone with that kind of mindset, with that kind of knowledge of structuring of a brand new world. Like I said, it's interesting to see how freaking Adolf Hitler was actually shown to be good for once. You know, it was very interesting to see how that actually played along as well. Adolf Hitler was a very interesting character to see, but granted, he's not going to be showcased anymore. Not from after this particular episode. I feel like he's not going to be showcased. More like he's going to be highlighted as to what he's been doing or has done in this brand new world. That's what I feel like they're going to go with that. But granted though, this episode was not just only about them. As we actually see in the beginning of the episode, we see Yoichi was actually having struggles against one of his own clan members, folks. Pardon me there. But yes, one of his own clan members himself was actually right there speaking to freaking Yoichi, and Yoichi was just, I don't know, like the way that he was being showcased, guys. Like, my god. Yoichi seems more and more like it's becoming a character that's actually losing the power that we already seen. Like, we always saw him as a very strong character, but after fighting against Gie, it just seems that he's becoming more and more weaker. And even this character, Minamoto, was talking to him as if saying, you know, like, something must have happened back in the past of some sort. Like, we don't know. Like, something must have happened with Yoichi that Yoichi was actually arguing with his character. We don't know that what's been going on in the past right there. I'm hoping they bring into the limelight as to what actually happened to these two characters, but it just seems that Yoichi is not that type of person that we actually thought he was. Like I say, it was very interesting to see that. But that was just the beginning part of the episode. I'm hoping they kind of give more characterization between Yoichi and his or her clan members, or actually back in the period that he was. Like, I'm hoping to see more of that. But we actually move on to the episode more involved with Nobunaga actually learning from the Wild Bunch. Since the Wild Bunch actually used a gun in the episode, we learned that the Nobunaga instead says he wants to mass produce the freaking gun, the Gatling gun, as I should say. He wants to mass produce, and from there it really would put them in an advantage against the Black King. And granted though, the reason I say that it's gonna put them in an advantage because of the fact that the Black King is only, like I said, using like dragons, arrows, spearheads. You know, it's just using medieval type of like weapons against the Orte Empire or whoever's facing off against them. But like I said, it just seems that Nobunaga's trying to stay up ahead, and he even got the he got the sulfur in order to actually make the actual gunpowder himself in this episode from Almino, of course. But it just seems that Nobunaga is really trying to step up his game, and it's like I said, how I said that Abe was actually seen as a fearful person because of the fact that he's actually looking at that. He saw that all these brand new characters are bringing brand new weapons onto the fray, and he said, "Oh, okay, you know, if we mass produce this, we'll actually be one step ahead of the Black King. We'll be able to kill this army and anyone else who opposes, because there's no such thing as guns." But that also backfired on him, because there's no such thing as guns in this brand new world. No one can really recreate them or mass produce the guns. So it kind of goes on to say that the Wild Bunch's guns are really scarce on those kind of weapons. And it's funny because one of the characters from the Wild Bunch just kept shooting off throughout the whole entire time, and you're wondering, like, don't be doing that, man. You guys need those weapons. You guys seriously need those weapons, like, seriously. But later on in the episode, besides those, we see Toyohisa actually then, like I said in the beginning of this episode, is the fact that, like I said, they're actually going to face off or destroy the Orte Empire, but before they do that, they need the dwarves. And we actually get involved a little bit more of the history with Toyohisa, and Toyohisa learns that the elves themselves in this episode said that back in the past, when everything was going to like shambles, the elves themselves were the first ones to get captured and treated as slaves, but because the dwarves didn't come and help them. But it seems that Toyohisa actually gave off a victory speech saying, you know, I'm gonna go help the dwarves escape from this actual treatment and help us win against the war against our opposing enemies. And it seems, I love the fact that Toyohisa is actually doing that because of the fact that they're bringing a multicultural race together, and that's Nobunaga's plan as well, because he wants to build a foundation on different types of races as one. He wants to build basically a dictatorship from the looks of it. Right there, all races come together in one and follow one leader. Like I said, it's very interesting to see that Nobunaga's kind of becoming the Adolf Hitler, or the old Adolf Hitler, we kind of say. Like I said, it's very interesting to see how they're kind of going along with that route. It's very interesting. But right there and then we see Toyohisa and the elves themselves, they come to agreement because of the fact that they don't want to do what the past generations have done and fail, but by joining forces with the dwarves themselves right there, they will be able to win against their opposing enemy. Like I said, it's very interesting to see how they're gonna go against, because I really want to see what the dwarves can do in the actual following episodes, because the dwarves themselves, like I said, we don't know too much about them, and it seems the elves themselves can do some type of magic, from I'm assuming, but it just goes along to say that we're going to be learning more and more about the lore of this actual universe. Like, it's just being more and expanded upon us slowly, bit by bit. And from right now, it just seems that us as the viewer, we're actually going to be witnessing a brand new type of army enveloped against the Black King's army himself. Like, I feel like the Black King's army is only just a limited number with strong people, but with a limited number of people, versus Nobunaga is creating a mass amount of army with advanced technology and weapons. Like I said, he's trying to stay up the front. Like I said, it's very interesting to see how these two characters are going on. But like I said, that's it for the episode, folks, because like I said, that this episode was really shocking to see as to we're involving ourselves into a brand new arc, and rescuing the dwarves is the next arc that we're moving on to. I'm hoping to see more as to what's going to be happening with the dwarves themselves. Ooh, and I almost forgot, folks. I almost forgot. In the episode, before I almost leave, guys, we actually see Hannibal and Scipio. They actually separated in this episode, and we actually Hannibal actually having a mental breakdown due to the fact that Scipio was his own light in his world. And in the episode, we actually learned that Scipio was having his own adventures as he found Naoshi in the woods, and Naoshi seems to be in control of some wolf demons. Maybe the wolf demons are now going to be part of Nobunaga's and the Drifters' army. Like I said, they're slowly building their army more and more and more. It's just entertaining to see as to how they're actually going to be implemented in the story right there. And Naoshi's also a strong military leader, so woo! This just goes on to say, like, I wonder what the Black King is going to have against the freaking Drifters. The Drifters themselves, they're just OP now. Like I said, they're strategists. That's what they are. They're just not. They don't have power, but they have this, and that's what they're using. They're not just like they're just there and just saying, oh, I just wanna cause havoc. No. They're using their minds in the right way, and I'm loving about that. I really am. And now, granted, that's it for the episode. Woo! Now I'm finished. But let me know down in the comments below as what are you guys' thoughts about the episode. What did you guys think upon Naoshi's actual involvement with the dwarf teams? To me, it seemed like that was like a comic relief part, but let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about Toyohisa's involvement with the elves and actually making the elves actually join forces with the dwarves. Like I said, that was a very powerful speech right there and then, even though he really didn't say anything because there really was no need to say anything. Like I said, it's very powerful right there, as that scene just goes on to say that, you know, this is a time of war and there shouldn't be any bickering involved. And what do you guys thoughts of Nobunaga? Like I said, I feel like Nobunaga is going to become the new Adolf Hitler right there and then. Nobunaga is one strong character in terms of military strategy. I swear. I can't wait to see more of Nobunaga's actual actions involving in the next arc, guys. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about the anime episode. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more anime-related content or more Drifters anime-related content. As always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out. Thank you.